This video is about an area of composition that is essential yet often overlooked, and that is placing objects correctly. It's a segment from my course, The Easiest Method for Cartoon Backgrounds, where I go more in depth into composition and making cartoon backgrounds easier by using pre-made assets. If you're curious about the method but not the full course, I've linked the video in the description. Also, stick around until the end if you're interested in creating backgrounds in Inkscape. I got something you won't want to miss. There are 3 important tricks to keep in mind when placing objects to make them look natural. These rules are really important, so you should follow them to the letter. Otherwise, you risk the entire composition to look bad. First, avoid mechanical looking distribution of objects. For instance, if you see 2 trees, make an effort to avoid placing another tree in the exact middle of them. This rule also applies when you align 2 objects horizontally or vertically. In these examples you can see how it looks like the objects were placed deliberately and not created organically by nature. The second rule is to overlap as much as possible. Here we are working with cartoons. They are flatter than normal. Plus, we don't even have a perspective grid set up. So the only way to imply depthness is to overlap things. This of course is something that's more important for things that are meant to be relatively close. One thing you'll see me do is to place a lot of bushes below trees, or patches of grass in front of rocks, or trees slightly overlapping other trees. If it is possible to overlap something, do it. And remember to follow the previous rule. Never put something that aligns perfectly in the middle of something, like a bush that is centered perfectly below a tree. The final rule is to avoid tangents at all costs. Tangents occur when 2 or more objects touch or nearly touch at the borders. And this includes the special case of the objects contacting with the border of the illustration. These tangents call attention to themselves and remind the viewer that the drawing is 2-dimensional. Always be on the lookout for accidental tangents because they can ruin an otherwise fine composition. Here is another concept that will help you out making better nature scenes. I call it grounding. When you place an object and there's nothing around it, it will give the impression that it's floating up in the air, or at least in an undefined position in the ground. But the moment you put another object next to it, overlapping it, we get enough information to make the 2 objects feel connected to the ground. So, if possible, right below every tree, we want some object overlapping it. In this case, a bush will do the job just fine. And this is a resource that you see all the time once you start paying attention to the references. If you place this small row of grass coming out of the ground, overlapping some object, it really gives the impression that the object is really resting on the ground. And you can use this with other objects, not only with grass. Any small object that has the same color than the ground will extend the ground a bit and really create some nice effect of grounding and setting up some scale. When using this small scale grounding technique, always keep in mind 3 things. 1. Don't place a patch of grass right in the middle of a bigger shape. Place it to one of the sides and be aware of its alignment. 2. Don't extend it all the way through the object. This is a bit of a personal preference, but I feel like it doesn't work as well when you overuse this. And 3. Be especially wary of the size. Remember that this is supposed to be a small patch of overlapping ground. It should be more or less consistent in size. The patches in the back should be smaller than the ones in the front. There's no need to be super accurate though, just be aware of the relative sizes. If you want to learn more about this and Inkscape in general, I have a bundle of 13 courses with over 70 hours of tutorials on character design, background and game art. For a limited time it's on sale for $19. Check it out in the description. That's it for this video. Like and subscribe and let me know what you thought about it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.